It is no accident that you are here right now. Something in the spirit has summoned you, because when God decides to awaken a destiny, he interrupts everything. And this moment, this very breath you're taking, is evidence that heaven is whispering your name, urging you to rise, to shake off delay, and to command your morning with the authority of one who was chosen before time. So listen carefully, because what you are about to hear may be the turning point your destiny has been crying for. And as he speaks to you, let your spirit respond in the comments with what God is stirring within you. Before this day began, God already scripted this moment into your journey, because there comes a season when heaven refuses to let you slip through your own destiny. And right now the Spirit of God is calling your name with a tenderness that shakes everything that has held you back. Listen, for this is more than a message. It is a divine summons, a gentle but powerful awakening, reminding you that you were crafted for purpose, built for impact, and destined to rise. And as these words stir your spirit, I want you to share in the comments what you're sensing, what God is revealing, and how this awakening speaks to the path he's guiding you on. There are moments in destiny when God does not simply whisper, he thunders your name into the depths of your own spirit, announcing a version of you that heaven has been waiting for, even when you were unaware of it. Right now, by divine orchestration, the veil is being torn off the parts of you that have been buried beneath fear, delay, confusion, or spiritual weariness. When God wakes a man, he does not begin with external breakthroughs. He begins by awakening the eyes of his understanding, sharpening his inner vision, and tuning his spirit to perceive the subtle movements of God that were once overlooked. This is that sacred moment for you, an hour where destiny calls louder than distraction, where clarity rises above chaos, where purpose breaks through the noise of your life. Let the Holy Spirit breathe upon every dormant gift, every forgotten instruction, every silent longing that he authored within you. And as this word stirs your spirit, share in the comments what God is activating, revealing, or summoning you into in this defining season of your journey. Your morning is not marked by the rising of the sun in the sky. It is marked by the rising of revelation in your spirit. Because true dawn begins the moment God opens the eyes of your understanding and causes light to break forth within. There are seasons when your life can be surrounded by daylight, yet your destiny remains in darkness. And there are moments like this very one, when even if the world around you feels dim, heaven switches on a light in your spirit that announces a new beginning. This is why the Lord is declaring with urgency and tenderness, asterisk, it is time to command your morning. Asterisk, not merely to admire it, not to hope for it, not to wait for it passively, but to command it as one who carries divine authority. For too long, the disappointments of yesterday have attempted to silence your voice. The weight of battles has tried to convince you that your authority has been weakened, and the silent wounds of your journey have attempted to bury your fire. Yet hear this prophetic truth: the God who watches over your destiny has not only remembered you, he is now restoring every spiritual asset you laid down in moments of exhaustion. He is giving back the authority you surrendered unknowingly in seasons of warfare where weariness made you believe you were losing ground. He is reviving the fire that once burned so deeply it made you dream differently, pray differently, plan differently, and walk with a sense of divine urgency. He is resurrecting the clarity that confusion attempted to bury under layers of fear, doubt, and emotional fog. Heaven is reorganizing your inner world, reawakening the sharpness of your discernment, the confidence of your expectations, and the strength of your inner man. For there is a dimension in God where restoration is not merely a return, it is an upgrade. When God restores, he does not give back what you lost. He gives you what you could not carry then, because now your capacity has been stretched, your understanding has been refined, and your spiritual sensitivity has been heightened through the very battles that once threatened to break you. This is the moment where God himself enters your timeline and declares enough of waking up spiritually drained, enough of walking through your days without a sense of direction, enough of allowing external circumstances to dictate the rhythm of your inner life, enough of letting the adversary define the narrative of your destiny. This is your prophetic morning, a God-orchestrated awakening where you are called to rise with a renewed consciousness that your voice carries weight, your presence carries impact, and your destiny carries heaven's endorsement. To command your morning means to realign your expectations with God's intentions, to speak into your atmosphere with conviction, to declare what heaven has written even when earth has not yet manifested it. It means to take responsibility for your spiritual environment, refusing to allow fear, anxiety, or hopelessness to govern the beginning of your day. It means to partner with God in establishing the direction of your destiny, using words, revelation, and faith as tools to shape what unfolds before you. There is a divine stirring happening in you even now, a gentle but firm awakening of the parts of you that have been silent for too long. God is rekindling the visionary in you, the warrior in you, the intercessor in you, the dreamer in you, the builder in you. He is touching wounds you never voiced, lifting burdens you carried alone, breaking the heaviness that sat on your spirit, and calling forth the strength you thought you had lost. This is why your heart feels the weight of this moment, because God is not just encouraging you, he's activating you. You are stepping into a season where your spirit will begin to respond to divine instructions with greater sensitivity, where your prayers will carry unusual accuracy, where your decisions will be guided by supernatural clarity, and where your mornings will become prophetic launch pads for everything God intends to do through you. You may not feel ready, but heaven has judged you ready. You may not feel strong, but the Spirit of God is clothing you with strength. You may not feel certain of your path, but God is illuminating the next steps with precision. And as this word washes over you, something within you is rising. Courage you thought had died, faith you thought had weakened, confidence you thought had faded. This is not emotional excitement, it is spiritual awakening. The same God who hovered over the formless void in Genesis is hovering over the unformed areas of your destiny, speaking, let there be light. And light is coming, revelation is coming, clarity is coming, instruction is coming, restoration is coming. And with every wave of divine illumination, your morning is breaking forth with greater brilliance. As you receive this impartation, I want you to pay attention to what stirs within your spirit, because God is not awakening you arbitrarily. He is awakening you intentionally. Something specific is being resurrected, something long awaited is being touched, something dormant is receiving breath again. And in this sacred moment, share in the comments what God is awakening and resurrecting within you, your insight, your tears, your revelation, your sense of purpose. Because your testimony will not only seal your encounter, it will also awaken someone else's morning. When God interrupts you, it is never to halt your journey. It is to violently pull your spirit back into the coordinates of his original design for your destiny. Because divine interruption is the mercy of God, refusing to let you drift into a version of life he never authored for you. Many have carried purpose yet lacked the compass of revelation, walked with calling but moved without clarity, been filled with passion yet misaligned with divine timing. And these misalignments quietly drained their strength, blurred their vision, and delayed their rising. But hear this: you have stepped into an hour where heaven is bringing supernatural order to your inner world. The scattered pieces of your identity, your assignment, your desires, your decisions, your emotions, and your spiritual hunger are being gathered by the hand of God and aligned into one prophetic direction. You will no longer wander through life like one uncertain of who they are or what they carry. The fog is lifting, the noise is breaking, and the confusion that once clouded your steps is dissolving under the weight of divine clarity. You will rise not with the hesitancy of one guessing their way through destiny, but with the conviction, precision, and confidence of one who has been marked, chosen, and awakened by heaven's voice. This is God realigning your desires to his will, your steps to his timing, your priorities to his purpose, and your heart to his instructions. As this revelation settles in your spirit, pay attention to the gentle pull, the subtle ways God is shifting your focus, redirecting your pursuits, pruning distractions, and reawakening dormant instructions. And share in the comments the areas of your life where you can feel God drawing you back into alignment. Because what you articulate becomes the testimony that seals your transformation and becomes a witness to someone else's awakening. There is a voice that does not speak to the outer man but to the deep, hidden chambers of your destiny. This is the voice calling you now. It is not the voice that merely reaches your ears. It is the voice that reaches your foundation. The voice that shakes everything within you that has settled for less than what heaven ordained. This is the voice that spoke to men like Gideon while they were hiding, to Samuel while he was sleeping, to Jeremiah while he doubted, to Moses while he fled, to Paul while he was blind. This is the voice that finds you in unlikely places and awakens who you truly are. Right now, the Spirit of God is reminding you with divine insistence that you were never designed for smallness, for fear, for silence, or for spiritual dormancy. Heaven did not invest breath into you for you to shrink back, nor were you crafted with precision just to blend in with the noise of your generation. You were fashioned intentionally, intricately, prophetically, to bear influence that disrupts darkness, to carry light that exposes lies, and to manifest divine intelligence that becomes a solution in your time. Every day of your life, even the ones you thought were wasted, have been woven into the tapestry of your calling. Every battle you endured did not come to break you. It came to build the spiritual muscles needed for where God is taking you. Every delay you wrestled with was not a denial but a divine classroom, teaching you endurance, sharpening your discernment, and preparing the soil of your heart for deeper revelation. Every silent season, the ones that made you question whether God still remembered your name, was the Spirit incubating purpose inside you, strengthening the roots of your destiny away from public view. Heaven hides those it intends to reveal in power. And the proof that you were never forgotten is that even now something within you responds to these words, as though your spirit recognizes the sound of home. There is a rising happening inside you that your mind has not yet fully comprehended, a stirring that feels like both a warning and an invitation. God is summoning you into the version of yourself that he ordained before time began. Stronger, clearer, more yielded, more discerning, more courageous, more aligned. You were crafted to carry a dimension of light that is not ordinary. You were designed to manifest a measure of divine intelligence that solves problems, shifts atmospheres, and influences lives. You were built to speak words that carry spiritual weight, to pray prayers that shape outcomes, to walk with a presence that announces the fingerprints of God. The mantle upon your life may not look like someone else's, but heaven recognizes it. The battles you have survived are a clue. The burdens you carry are a clue. The unusual sensitivity you feel in your spirit is a clue. The dreams you cannot shake, the longing you cannot bury, the restlessness that awakens you at night, all of these are signals that there is something within you. Heaven is now demanding expression from. You must understand, nothing about your journey has been random. the environment you grew up in, the challenges you faced, the opportunities you missed, the heartbreaks you endured, the delays you questioned, the prayers you prayed through tears, God has been using all of it to shape a vessel. He intends to trust with influence. You were crafted for impact that goes beyond personal comfort. You were designed for an assignment that carries eternal weight. And what has looked like endless warfare has really been training. What has looked like abandonment has actually been divine separation. What has looked like silence has been God letting your roots grow deep enough to sustain the weight of glory coming upon your life. Right now, the Spirit of God is calling you into a deeper awareness of who you are. A call that cuts through excuses, insecurities, and fears. You are hearing the same voice that called Moses from the burning bush, that awakened Samuel in the night, that redirected Saul on the road to Damascus. This is the voice of alignment, the voice of commissioning, the voice that separates you from the ordinary and thrusts you into divine purpose. It does not matter who doubted you or who underestimated you. Heaven did not consult them when writing your destiny. It does not matter how long you felt stuck. God is not limited by the years you think you lost. In one divine moment, he can restore clarity, reorder steps, revive passion, and accelerate purpose. You are entering a season where you will no longer misinterpret your battles. You will begin to see how every storm trained your discernment, how every disappointment refined your expectations, how every delay forged patience in you, how every burden shaped compassion within you. You will begin to recognize that the things you thought disqualified, you are the very things God is using to build the message of your life. You will understand why the warfare was so intense, because heaven placed something inside you that hell recognized long before you did. And though the resistance was fierce, it could not destroy you. You are still here, still sensing God, still longing for purpose, still drawn to his voice, still hungry for what only he can reveal. This alone is proof of divine preservation. This is the season where God takes the scattered fragments of your journey and forms a prophetic picture so clear that you will weep not out of fear but out of recognition. You will begin to see that the pain you endured is now becoming oil. The confusion you faced is now becoming wisdom. The brokenness you survived is now becoming compassion. The silence you walked through is now becoming depth. And all of it, every moment, is being gathered by the Spirit into a story that will glorify God and awaken destinies around you. You are not just coming out of what you faced. You are coming out with understanding, with revelation, with authority, with a voice, with a testimony, and with a mantle. Do not despise your process. Do not underestimate the significance of your journey. Do not diminish the weight of the calling God has placed upon your life. You were built for more than survival. You were built for spiritual influence. You were crafted to be a carrier of divine strategy in your generation. You were designed to be a light that darkness cannot comprehend and cannot extinguish. You are not a random person wandering through life. You are a chosen vessel, a prophetic voice, a carrier of divine intelligence, a steward of mysteries, a representative of heaven. And as these words resonate within you, as that familiar stirring awakens, as the voice of God touches the deepest parts of your identity, I want you to reflect deeply and honestly. Asterisk, what parts of your story is God using to shape your purpose? Asterisk, which battles did something holy rise out of? Which delays produce endurance? Which wounds made you compassionate? Which seasons of silence birthed hunger? Which failures taught you obedience? Which tears watered the soil of your calling? Share in the comments the parts of your journey that God is using to shape your destiny, because what you put into words becomes a seed, and your testimony will become the awakening someone else desperately needs. Every destiny reaches a point where heaven refuses to let you continue, as you have been a moment when God himself shakes you awake, not as a punishment but as an announcement, declaring that the season of spiritual slumber has ended and the hour of rising has come. This shaking is not emotional excitement. It is not the kind of stirring that fades after a few moments of inspiration. No, this is divine activation, the kind that touches the core of your identity and reminds you of who you were before life. Fear, battles, and disappointment try to redefine you. There is a version of you heaven authored, a version you have not yet fully seen, and right now God is pulling that version to the surface. This is why you feel the weight of these words, why something within you refuses to remain silent, why your spirit feels as though it is being summoned into higher consciousness. God is restoring the sound of purpose in your spirit. Not merely a desire for purpose, but the sound of it, the inner certainty, the clarity, the conviction, the unmistakable awareness that you were born for something only you can fulfill. He is reigniting the voice you once had when you prayed boldly, believed fearlessly, dreamed unapologetically, and walked with a sense of divine backing. He is restoring the spiritual confidence that life tried to steal, the kind that makes you speak with authority, not because you are strong in yourself, but because you know who stands behind you. There was a season when your voice lost its strength, when discouragement, delay, or defeat caused you to whisper where you once declared. But the Lord says, asterisk, I am returning your voice to you. Asterisk. Your ability to speak into your atmosphere with power is coming back. Your ability to command your day, your emotions, your expectations, and the environment around you is being resurrected. This confidence is not arrogance. This is spiritual identity restored. For too long, external battles attempted to silence your internal authority, convincing you that your words did not matter, your prayers were ineffective, your declarations were empty, and your destiny was too far gone. Yet here is the prophetic truth. Anything God intends to use, he awakens by sound. He spoke creation into being by sound. He opened destinies by sound. He broke chains by sound. He calls his children by sound. And now he is restoring the sound of purpose within you, because your next season requires a voice that knows who it is speaking for. God is also rebuilding the discipline you need to walk in your calling. Destiny is not sustained by passion alone. Destiny is carried by discipline. And for many, the attacks you faced were not random. They were targeted at your discipline, meant to weaken your consistency, distract your focus, and break your rhythm, so that you would never reach the spiritual maturity required for your assignment. But hear this with spiritual sensitivity. God is reawakening the discipline to command your atmosphere. He's giving you back the grace to pray with focus, to study with depth, to rise early with purpose, to silence distractions with authority, and to steward your spiritual environment with intentionality. You are entering a season where your mornings will no longer be casual. They will become prophetic stages where heaven and earth meet through your voice. Your words will set direction. Your declarations will carry weight. Your alignment will open doors. And your discipline will become the engine that drives your destiny forward. The morning of your destiny has begun, not the one on the clock, but the one in your spirit. It is the moment when the darkness that once surrounded your purpose begins to crack open under the weight of divine light. Morning is when clarity returns. Morning is when revelation flows. Morning is when hope becomes possible again. Morning is when the old cycle breaks and a new order begins. And right now, heaven is watching, not with the gaze of a distant observer, but with the attention of a father who has invested deeply in your journey. Heaven is watching how you respond to this awakening, because every destiny rises not only by prophecy, but by response. The angels assigned to your life are attentive. The Spirit of God within you is stirring The environment around you is shifting. The mantle over your life is becoming active, and you are standing at the threshold of a season that demands intentionality, courage, and alignment. Understand this: God does not awaken what he does not intend to use. He does not ignite what he plans to ignore. He does not shake what he intends to bury. If you feel this tearing, if you sense this weight, it is because heaven has decided that your season of hiding has reached its expiration. You are being summoned into visibility, not necessarily public visibility, but spiritual visibility. Heaven is acknowledging you. Purpose is identifying you. Your destiny is calling you by name. There is an urgency in the spirit, because there is a chapter of your life that must begin now. Your past was preparation, your silence was incubation, your brokenness was molding, your confusion was refinement. But this moment is activation. And as this revelation touches the deepest parts of you, as your heart recognizes that God is speaking to you directly, as your spirit begins to rise, even if your mind has not yet caught up, I want you to pause and acknowledge what is happening within you. Something is being stirred, something is being revealed, something is being ignited. Maybe it's a forgotten dream resurfacing, maybe it's clarity returning, maybe it's boldness rekindling, maybe it's a calling you ran from beginning to echo again, maybe it's discipline awakening, maybe it's the sense that God is realigning your steps, restoring your identity, or repositioning your destiny. Whatever it is, put it into words, speak it, declare it, and share in the comments what God is tearing, revealing, or igniting inside you right now. Because what you articulate will not only seal your activation, it will become a prophetic witness to someone else whose morning has also begun.